Alright, this is your English teacher, and here's the first educational video with plenty of more coming later. Today we're going to talk about what awaits us this year about the English course in general. And what's ahead? Well, first of all, there's 105 periods of English waiting this year. And that sounds a lot, it's because it is. So there's a lot of work ahead. And how are we going to organize this work? Well, some of it you'll do at home, other things you'll have to do at school. And don't worry, you won't get too much homework. The most important thing is that you will get to watch a video or two each week, not more than 10 minutes in total, and make some notes, right? And then we're going to talk about that at school. Once or twice each term, you also get a major assignment, so you'll have to read some books, write some essays, and talk more about that later. At school, so there's what I like to call the Q&A sessions, which means questions and answers. Basically, when you watch a video at home, you get to discuss that with your classmates in pairs and groups, and of course talk to me, ask me anything that's not clear. And in addition to this, of course, you'll have to do some exercises, you'll get a chance to practice what you've learned, and also to apply it in a creative way, maybe through some dialogues, sketches, or similar. Why are we doing all this? Well, to develop our English, right? But what does it mean to develop your English, to practice your English? It means to work on your skills, to develop your skills, like in a video game. What skills are these? Well, it's easiest to show this through the marking elements that we have in the e-register. This is comprehension, speaking, writing, and structures of functions. I'm going to tell you more about each of these in a moment. So first, comprehension. This basically means understanding a text, be that written or recorded text, and then solving some tasks that you show that you understand it. Of course, it also means understanding me or some of your classmates in a conversation, or when I give you instructions, when I ask you some questions. Right, another thing there is individual vocabulary items. You must be able to recognize particular words or phrases and to explain what they mean in English. As I say. Now speaking, you will agree with me that it's a very important skill. To be able to take active part in a conversation is the easiest way to show me that you've developed this skill well. What I marked there is fluency, which means to what extent you're able to speak easily without hesitation, so that it goes smoothly. Pronunciation is, of course, also very important, and I'm not talking here that much about accent. You can speak with British or American or Jamaican, South African accent, or with Russian accent for all I care, but I must be able to understand you, so your pronunciation must be correct and clear. And of course, speaking English well means being able to choose the correct words, the right forms to express the desired meaning, making as few mistakes as possible. Now, writing. This means any sort of writing, so anything from taking notes in class, taking notes from videos, some minor assignment that you get, if you have a dictation, or if you have a longer assignment, a major assignment such as an essay. So how do I mark this? Basically, it's about how well you're able to express your thoughts in writing. Right, next, structures and functions. This is the part which we usually check through exams. Now, this is grammar and syntax, right? But I don't want you to think about this as something formal, as something that we teachers just force upon you. Basically, what we're talking about here is finding the right structures to achieve a particular function, to express a particular meaning in English, okay? Being able to combine words, to put words together, and then to put them into a longer sentence. And this includes using vocabulary and phrases in certain context. And this is what, like I said, we'll check through exams. Exams are, however, not the only way I assess your knowledge. Actually, what's more important for me is assessing knowledge throughout the year, what we call continual assessment. And this can even replace oral examination, or you can take oral examination instead. I'll tell you more about that. Quizzes are the way I assess your knowledge in your skills of structures and functions. Instead of just taking 2 longer exams, which is always an option, we can see throughout the year how you're doing and earn marks through quizzes. And then, of course, we have 2 home reading assignments. This is quite an important thing, which you will prepare for at home, and you'll have at school. And there's 2 major writing assignments, which is an essay or letters. Now, back to continuous assessment. What I'm basically checking here is your progress. And if you've made substantial progress, if you can see your work, you'll get a plus. You can earn a plus by volunteering in class, by me calling you out to read something, or you can show me your notes or whatever. And like I said, when you get a plus, you earn 3 points. If you made some progress, but it's not quite what was expected, then you'll get a plus minus, which is worth 1 point, better than nothing, which is what you get if you make insufficient progress. And how do I combine these marks into a grade? We'll take a look at the scale over there. Right. Now, I would like to stress, I would like to point out that I value your effort, that it's not enough just to start with good English. You need to get your English better. So even if your English is not very good, if you show me progress, you can get good marks. Even if your English is really great, if you haven't made any progress throughout the year, your grades will not be as good. Now, more about quizzes. How do we do this? This is usually taken online at the IT classroom. And think of the quizzes as a chance to revise and a chance to see what you still have to work on, and of course to earn some marks. Because after 5 quizzes, we work out the grade, and then if you're not happy with the grade, take the exam. If you're happy with the grade, you skip the exam, right? Please notice if you fail any of the quizzes, it's not the end of the world, but if you want a grade in quizzes, you'll have to retake that individual quiz. Or you can just go for the exam. Right, the exams. Basically, we have them twice a year. So later in December or in May, and the exams are done traditional with paper and a pen, not a pencil, a pen. And here's the marking scale for them. Take a look at that, please. If you fail an exam, you must retake it. If you don't manage to pass an exam, you'll have to take summer school, I'm afraid. Okay. Book report. Yes, you have to read books at home, and then you will make some notes and come with your notes and with your books to school and tell me what you've read. We do that twice a year. And you get to pick the book you want to read. We'll make a timetable so that you know when it's your turn. And when you have your book report, this is how I evaluate your knowledge there. This is how I assess your work. On your retelling of the plot and the characters and so on, you can get up to 3 points. On your knowledge of vocabulary from the book, from the entire book, you get up to 3 points. And when you discuss with me some elements of the book, like I know, some characters, or what you liked about it, what you didn't like it, so on, you can get up to 3 points. And 1 additional point for the poster. Now, speaking of vocabulary, I'll tell you more about that later, but you have to make notes with vocabulary from the entire book that you read. Now, I told you already, you basically pick the book you want to read, but not only that, you can also decide how much you want to read. And here's a table which helps you decide. Basically, what we've got here is either you see that your English is not very good, that it's too much effort to read, I know, 180 pages in year 3, and you say, well, I'm going to have a C anyway, I'm going to have 3 anyway in English, why bother? Well, precisely, why bother? Read 120 pages, it'll earn you 3, and you're happy. And I'm happy because you read something, right? And just a few more words about the final evaluation. The final grade is not the average of all grades. Basically working out like this. Each element, I take all the grades and add them up and divide them, and I get the element average. And then the average of all 4 elements is the final grade. And all the grades insufficient must be corrected. If one of them is left uncorrected, it will simply lower the average for the particular element. If 2 grades are insufficient are left uncorrected, I'm afraid I'll have to send you to summer school. Grades can be corrected each month, but not in the last week of school. If you have any questions, please make notes so we can talk about your questions at school. And remember, you'll have to work.